the food waste in this hotel are recycled?
You mean this is recycled?
Of course not. The vegetables that we are eating are actually organic and is grown in this hotel.
You mean this hotel has a vegetable farm?
It's more than that.
We're in our sustainable farm, so we produce these vegetables that are grown sustainably, meaning we don't use any chemical fertilizer, we don't use any growth accelerators, no pesticides, of course. So that's of course why this whole area is netted up to prevent any pests from coming in here. Because these are produced sustainably with no chemicals, they're actually much healthier for us. The downside is that they will take significantly longer to grow than those conventionally farmed. But for us, we believe that sustainability is worth the wait. I had another hotelier visit us from an ASEAN country, and he asked, why don't we just use pigs to get rid of all our food waste? And this seemed like just common sense. Why don't we use natural methods? Of course, we can't use pigs, but it made us think about using the earthworms and using aquaculture as well as a way to get rid of our food waste naturally. And so that's why we started this closed loop cycle with the end product being all the vegetables that you see here. In Siloso Beach Resort, we collect about 25 kg every day of this fruit and vegetable waste from our cafe. So this waste then goes to our earthworms. The earthworms then will digest this and turn it into earthworm castings. And this is actually a very beneficial fertilizer. It has a lot of nutrients and beneficial bacteria that will help our plants grow healthy and help to break down the nutrients in the soil. So these earthworm castings we can use to grow our vegetables that we're growing in our sustainable farm on our rooftop. So these vegetables will then go down to our cafe. It provides about 10% of our cafe's vegetable needs. And of course, there will be some wastage in this process after the guest is finished. So whatever is wasted goes back to our earthworms, and this actually creates a closed loop cycle. There's nothing wasted in this process.
Wow, that's interesting. Tell me more about this hotel.
Sure, let's go.
Shall we finish the food first?
All right. Do you know that 200 trees were preserved during construction and 450 trees were planted after construction?
This villa actually encompasses three types of trees that we preserve in the whole resort. On my left here, what you see is actually the fast-growing tree. So in terms of fast-growing trees, what we did was we used a glass to encase it. This is so that our maintenance is much lesser. And if you look at the compost heap below, this compost heap is artificial compost heap. It's raised up. It's a fake panel, and all this compost will decompose and add to the fertilizer of the tree. Okay, we are actually 2 meters above ground. If you look at this pile here, this is nibong trees. Nibong trees. All these trees were actually here before the construction of the villas. So nibong trees is actually comes with spikes and it comes in a big clump. So what we did was the whole villa was shifted just for the trees, and after that they were preserved as it is. This is our slow-growing tree. Slow-growing trees are preserved very much as it is, and what we do is we actually do a wooden opening on the floor and a rubber opening on the ceiling. Yeah. And this rubber ceiling, which is situated on top of the roof, will be enlarged every half a year, just so that the trees can grow by itself. Yeah. But we also don't want the rainwater to come in, and that's how we actually preserve them. Sometimes we even get guests coming in and say that, you know what, I can hug my trees in private. Yeah, this way. Here we have our outdoor jacuzzi. As you can see, it's open air, and if you're soaking in it, you really feel like you're in nature. You know, there was once where I had 4 ladies doing brainstorming inside this jacuzzi, you know, with 16 jets and everything, and then suddenly a frog jumped in, and all the 4 girls jumped out. Yeah, there was one difficult complaint to handle.
So, what have you done to make this hotel eco-friendly?
Oh, we are taking a holistic approach towards being eco-friendly. Aside from the energy and water, there's technologies that we adopt. We believe that education is the way to go for eco-friendly resorts.
Let's go to the pool.
So the swimming pool is actually a spring water pool. We utilize the spring water for various systems, including the pool, also for the flushing of the toilets around the resort, and obviously for a lot of the gardening work as well. Actually, during the construction phase, we were very fortunate to discover, a bit by accident, that below the resort lies a natural spring reservoir. This was discovered during the foundation work. We actually, because of the environmental conditions on site, one of the directions during the construction phase was to preserve all the trees. And this was a very challenging task, and it had a lot of implications on the construction techniques. So most construction techniques, they actually utilize heavy machineries, which will create a lot of vibrations, which are very not so friendly to the trees, and most likely most trees will end up dying if we had utilized the conventional construction techniques. So instead of these big machineries which create a lot of vibrations, we actually utilize much smaller types of machines which actually drill into the ground. As you can see, it's a very unusual landscape shape, and there's a bit of a history behind the shape of this pool. Before the resort was built, actually there was no man-made structures on the site. It was a very natural forested terrain, and the only so-called structure on the site was a dirt maintenance road, which was utilized to maintain the old monorail structure that we can see around the resort. One of the guidelines of the construction of this resort was to preserve the landscape as much as possible and to utilize whatever features of the terrain were already present. So the shape is simply, the shape of the road, and as you can see, it gives the pool a very special landscape feel, which is one of the longest landscape swimming pool in Singapore, with about more than 90 meters long from the waterfall to the end where the road was ending, pretty much. So this rooftop system has been there since the beginning, so it was purposely planned this way. It's very important in terms of having rooftop systems on buildings to plan from the start. Why? Because actually having a rooftop system can add a lot of weight to the structure, which can, if it's not well planned, become a structural problem. So actually this rooftop is designed to hold the weight of a swimming pool. It's a very self-sustained system in a way that we do not need to water the system. It can sustain through rain events. So we can actually even capture the water that comes out of the system. While most of the water will be collected, just enough is retained within the system to sustain the life forms on the rooftop, the greenery, through evaporation events. There are really multiple benefits of having rooftop systems, especially in urban countries like Singapore. Obviously, the first benefit is energy efficiency, where we can really lower down the energy usage of the buildings. Simply by having this rooftop system, we can actually reduce the energy load of the building through air conditioning by anywhere from 15 to 30%, which is actually very high, very efficient. But in addition to the energy aspect, there are multiple other benefits. Some of them are in terms of providing greenery to urban environments, and if more rooftops were to be retrofitted with such systems, there will be a lot more greenery in Singapore, which also can help to reduce the average temperature of the city.
As a result, we actually capture this excess heat in a very efficient way. And the excess heat captured is actually enough to provide the entire resort needs for hot water. So as a result, when people actually take a shower in the rooms, it's actually heat generated from the cooling system. So after a few upgrades and a test bed and a lot of customization involved, we actually made the system so efficient that even though after the usage of the hot water in the entire resort, we were still left with an excess heat. So we really thought of what to do with this excess heat instead of just releasing it to the environment. So we pretty much came up with this simple concept of releasing the heat in a spa. So we actually have a hot spa which does not require any additional energy to produce hot water. And this system is actually quite holistic and combined in several ways. And one of them is, of course, the release of the heat. But the other benefit is the fact that we are actually using now the swimming pool as a cooling tower as well. And this has a lot of implications in terms of energy usage. Of course, a chiller system, they make use of big fan structures, for instance. And since we actually run the hot water system through the pool, we actually managed to switch off our main fan system, which helped to drop the energy usage by a lot through the chiller system.
Having done so much to make this hotel eco-friendly, what do you hope to achieve?
Look at here, you will see that the trees are here first. The biodiversity around you, you can take a look. These are all before the construction. And from building the resort in a lot, and we hope that by using education, we can use the resort as an education for the youngsters, for the younger generation. We have many programs that allows us to show to NGOs, to schools, to various organizations. And one of the programs is our eco tour. Till date, we have more than 10,000 people visiting. As a resort by itself, we have so many guests that goes through. They come and stay. We hope that they can bring back with them a more sustainable way of living, a more eco-friendly way of life.